Good morning, baseball fans, and welcome to Platteville Baseball on the Platteville Journal Facebook page. From Chamberlain Field at Legion Park in Platteville, where it's rather wet, to no surprise, it is the first round game between the 11th seed Shullsburg and the 6th seed Platteville. The winner plays the 3rd seed Keeler tonight at 6 o'clock. We are one batter in, and Jack Charles led off the game with a double to right field. We'll get you the rest of the lineup. Here's a throw to third, and he is out. So Charles is erased on a throw to third base, and so one hit erased on the attempt to catch the stolen base, or to steal the base, and so there is one out. And this is Brandon Hartman, the pitcher, and he takes a strike. We'll get to the lineup as soon as we get organized here. And while we're doing that, we'll also at some point bring up the swing and miss. And down goes Hartman for the second out of the first inning. It's Jack Charles, Brandon Hartman, and Aiden Dull, the top three batters for Shullsburg. Dylan Prestigard on the mound, and he throws low for ball one. Lineup for Shullsburg: Jack Charles at first base leading off. Batting second, Brandon Hartman, the pitcher. Remember, Charles doubled but was caught trying to steal third, and then Hartman struck out. And this is Aiden Dull, the shortstop, who takes a swings and misses for a strike, batting third. The rest of the lineup: Russell Hauser, the catch, bat cleanup. Evan Edge, the second baseman, batting fifth. And that pitch inside. Jackson Jerry, the third baseman, bats sixth. Batting seventh is Luke Unbehun, the center fielder. Hitting eighth is Ronan O'Brien, the left fielder. And batting ninth, Brandon Upman, actually he's the right fielder. O'Brien is the left fielder. And it's 3 balls, 1 strike with 2 away here at the top of the first. And that's ball 4, so a walk with 2 outs. Platteville on defense: Cooper Withrow's in left field, John Drefsinski is in center, and Jagger Johnson is in right. At third base, Riley Niehaus. Wyatt Wanizek is the shortstop. The second baseman, Seth Millsap. At first base, Connor Timlin. Brendan Edge behind the plate, blocking that pitch there. And on the mound is Dylan Prestigard for the start. Again, the winner today plays... the winner this morning, I should say, will play tonight at 6 o'clock against the 3rd seed Keeler, and that is a strike. So in the inning, a leadoff double, thrown out trying to steal third, and then a walk with 2 out. And that's high. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike. It is pretty muggy out. The temperature isn't too bad yet. Cloudy skies, or mostly cloudy skies. The field is, as you can imagine from last night, pretty tacky. The game was supposed to be played at 8 o'clock, but because of the needed cleanup and the chance for it to dry, everything's starting late. Strike 3 on the outside corner. That ends the inning. So a hit and a walk, one of them erased on the caught stealing, and 1 left on base. It's Shullsburg nothing, and Platteville coming to bat. And here, if you bear with me a moment, as you get a great view of the pavement here in Platteville, I will flip my stuff around and give you the starting lineup for the Platteville Hillmen. And in fact, I suppose if you want to do a graphic, you could just read it. If you could read my handwriting right here. Brendan Edge, the catcher, will lead off. First baseman Connor Timlin will bat second. Hitting third, Dylan Prestigard, the pitcher. Batting cleanup, shortstop Wyatt Wanizek. Hitting fifth is Seth Millsap, the second baseman. Riley Niehaus, the third baseman, will bat sixth. Batting seventh is John Drefsinski, the center fielder. Hitting eighth, Cooper Withrow, the left fielder. And Jagger Johnson, the right fielder, will bat ninth. As far as the lineup for the defensive lineup for Shullsburg: Ronan O'Brien in left field, Luke Unbehun in center, and Braxton Upman is in right field. At third base, is Jackson Jerry. The shortstop, Aiden Dull. At second base, Evan Edge. At first is Jack Charles. Behind the plate is Russell Hauser. And on the mound for starters, Brandon Hotman. And let me see if I can get that all written down correctly before we go here. And as we stated before, the winner will play the third seed Keeler at 6 o'clock tonight. And notice, by the way, we have one of those rarities of baseball, a left-handed catcher for Shullsburg. Brandon Edge will lead off, so it's catchers leading off. You don't necessarily see that a huge amount either. Yeah, that pitch fouled off. Already losing a pen, that's a problem. And that pitch outside, so a 4-pitch walk. And Platteville has its first base runner of the ball game. And the pitch is a ball, and Edge steals second base without a throw. So immediately Platteville has a runner in scoring position for Connor Timlin, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Still doing some writing here to get everything correctly filled in here on the numerous sheets. Meanwhile, 3 balls, no strikes. Dylan Prestigard is on deck. And that pitch is strike, 3 balls, 1 strike. And actually it's 3 balls, 1 strike. Sometimes you forget as an announcer what you just said. 3-1 is chopped to short, fumbled, and the throw is in time. Coming in to score from second base is Brandon Edge. So Platteville kind of manufactures a run there. Give Timlin an RBI on the ground out. It is 1-0. Platteville. And here is Dylan Prestigard, the starting at pitcher today. It'll be kind of interesting for Platteville because they have not played since the 2 games in Cuba City last Saturday. And they've had difficulty practicing really because this week was the week of Platteville High School's football camp, and a lot of baseball players are freshman football players, or will be, and that starts on August 1st. That pitch is strike. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Base is empty, 1 out and 1 in the bottom of the first. And that's hit to right field for a base hit. Solid single to right for Dylan Prestigard, who all year has done an outstanding job of hitting to the opposite field. He is having clearly his best offensive year this year. And here's Wyatt Wanazek. And we'll see how aggressive Platteville is as far as running here with a 1-0 lead at the bottom of the first. Wanazek swears to bunt, and Prestigard takes off and gets to second base without a throw. Yeah, the thing that's interesting about having a left-handed catcher is, of course, since most batters are right-handed, you can see, that's a strike, you can see that the hitter kind of inadvertently gets in the way of making that throw down to second base. That would be the same situation as that pitch outside. That would be the same situation as having a left-handed batter in there against a right-handed catcher, of course. kind of interesting that you don't see left-handed catchers very often, but you might remember as a throwback to second, goes into center field, and Prestigard will get to third. That'll be an error on the pitcher that moves Prestigard to third. On the attempted pickoff, that ends up going into center field. So now Prestigard at third with one out. And meanwhile, a 2-ball, 1-strike count, and that's outside. 3 balls and a strike. Seth Millsap on deck. 3-1. Pop foul. And I think that, I didn't look, but I believe that hit the roof of the concession stand behind us. Busy weekend, and the weather didn't help. Here's a ground ball to first. And dropped by the first baseman, but he's able to step on the bag to get the out. Prestigard scores. So that's an out, but a run driven in for Wadizek, and Platteville has a 2-0 lead with 2 out in the bottom of the first. Let's see if I can move my chair up here. I set up a little too far away from the backstop. That pitch gets away, but there's nobody on base, so no problem there. And it's 1 ball, no strikes to Seth Millsap. Platteville up 2-0. They've kind of manufactured a pair of runs. A walk came around to score, and a base hit came around to score, a pair of RBI groundouts. 2 balls, no strikes. So, Shullsburg, by the way, what I said about the lineup, that's the lineup they're going to have because they have just 9 players. That's a strike on the outside corner. Platteville has 1 extra, but that's it. Desmond Meeson is their 10th player. I believe that's all they have at any rate. Swing and a miss. And it's 2-1. Platteville lost a pair of games last week to 2 very difficult teams. Last Saturday in Cuba City, they lost to the Dubuque Sluggers, and that's popped up off second, and the second baseman Edge is able to make the catch, and that ends the first inning. But Platteville scores 2, leaves none after a hit and a walk. Pair of groundouts, and our score after 1, it is Platteville 2, Shullsburg 0. Top of the second inning, Platteville leading Shullsburg 2-0. And the first pitch is swing and a miss for strike 1 by Evan Edge, the second baseman. Hey, it's not nice to hit your dad while he's trying to announce, Dylan. That's not Dylan. That is Connor Timlin, who is now pitching. And it looks like Dylan Prestigard now at first base. So a flip there. And Timlin throws outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Edge, Jerry, and Unbehan in the top of the second inning for Shullsburg. And that's a ball. That's ball 4. And so Edge walks. So the switch for Platteville, as that pitch outside, ball 1. After the first inning, and that's grounded to third. Wadizek stays with it, but the throw goes away. And on the throw, or on the error, Edge is able to get over to third base. So Jerry reaches on an error. He's over at first. Edge at third with nobody out, and here's Unbehind. And still in the process of writing down the lineups. That's how long this has taken. A little hard to do all that stuff when you're attempting to announce also. And also dealing with a pen that kind of intermittently works. Pitches outside. And that's a strike on the outside corner. Again, the winner today will play tonight at 6 o'clock against Keeler. And that pitch goes outside. And the bases are now loaded after the walk to Unbehind with nobody out. And that pitch outside for ball 1. Edge at third. He walked. Jerry reached on the error. And Unbehind walked. And so bases loaded, nobody out. Platteville leading 2-0, but a threat for Shullsburg here, and that's a strike to Ronan O'Brien, the left fielder, and that's a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. And that's strike 3. Called strikeout. 1 away here in the top of the second inning. And here is Braxton Upman, the right fielder. And that pitch goes outside. Timlin certainly looks like he's trying to hit the outside corner. And that pitch chopped to third and gets away. A tag is made at third, so they get the out and exchange the run. Scoring is Edge for the first run for Shullsburg. Jerry is tagged out. Upman reaches on a fielder's choice, and Unbehind goes to second. And now there are 2 out. And certainly from bases loaded and nobody out, if Platteville's able to get through this without giving up more than 1 run, they would say that that was a victory. Back to the top of the order, and Charles, and that pitch is low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Charles doubled in the first, but was thrown out trying to steal third. Hit to center field. And Drasinski makes the catch on the line drive, and indeed Platteville is able to get out of the bases loaded, nobody out situation. They give up just 1 run out of that and leave 2. Two errors in the inning, and a couple of walks, actually 2 walks, 3 walks, and 2 are left. And our score after an inning and a half, Platteville 2, Shullsburg 1. Bottom of the second inning here at Chamberlain Field at Legion Park in Platteville. Glad you've joined us. 2-1 Platteville. They scored 2 runs in the bottom of the first. Shullsburg with 1 run in the top of the second inning. Winner plays the 3rd seed Keeler tonight at 6 o'clock. And then the winner of that will play Sunday at 12:30. And the first pitch outside for ball 1. Platteville turned walks into a single and a walk into a run, or a pair of runs, in the top of, or the bottom of the first inning. I was wondering, yeah, the field is pretty wet, but playable, obviously, because we're here. Game got started 3 hours after schedule because of the wet conditions. I think they were supposed to have games yesterday, and obviously those did not get played. So the schedule is somewhat discombobulated as a result. 2 balls, 1 strike to Bradley Niehaus, and that's a strike to make it 2-2. Niehaus, John Drasinski, and Cooper Withrow in the bottom of the second inning. Swing and a miss. And Niehaus is retired, 1 away in the bottom of the second inning. And here's John Drasinski, who made a nice running catch of that line drive to center to end the top of the second inning. And that's outside ball 1. As we mentioned, with all the rain that we got yesterday, and haven't seen any estimates as to how much yet, but when you have as much flooding as took place yesterday, the fact that they were able to get this field in shape to play is pretty remarkable. The infield looks a little tacky, but obviously playable, and I'm sure it's a little wet. There's standing water actually over the playground across the parking lot. But again, got it able to play. 3 balls, 1 strike. 1 away in the bottom of the second, and that's ball 4. So John Drasinski has a 1-out walk. And here is Cooper Withrow, the left fielder. And I have to think, and indeed there he goes. And Drasinski, who is quite quick, is able to get to second without a throw. He's in scoring position with 1 out. Platteville looking to add to their 2-1 lead over Shullsburg. That's a strike, and Drasinski is able to get to third on a stolen base. So there he is. And 1 strike, 2 balls and a strike to Withrow. 3 balls and a strike. The 9th place here, Jagger Johnson on deck. 3 balls, 2 strikes. As you can imagine, Grant County is kind of in a mess today after all of the rain that we got yesterday and last night, particularly in the Potosi and Cassville areas. That's a swing and a miss. And Withrow strikes out. So it's up to Jagger to get the 3rd run of the game for Platteville. That's Drasinski over at third base with 2 out. There is a flood warning for Grant County until 3:45 this afternoon. There are a lot of roads, particularly secondary roads in the townships, that are closed. And there's probably more roads that are closed than Grant County Emergency Management even knows, or at least impassable, because of how widespread the flooding was last night. That is nearly thrown away. 2 balls, 1 strike. A lot of flooding in Cassville, several homes destroyed or uninhabitable. Flooding in Potosi, Dickeyville, Hazel Green last night. A lot of roads in between Potosi and Cassville, particularly in the town of Potosi, are impassable for one reason or another. That's a strike, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 out. Correction, 3-1. And that's ball 4. The ball gets away. And coming in to score is Drefsinski on the walk. So Johnson walks. And Drefsinski comes in with run number 3 for Platteville. And the Hillmen lead 3-1 with 2 out. We're back to the top of the order. And Brendan Edge. Edge walked and scored in the bottom of the first. So he gets one of the 3 runs for Platteville today so far. And that's low, ball 1. So check out swnews4u.com. We have an update that just posted this morning on roads that are closed. Highway 81 was closed between Potosi and actually not Potosi and Cassville, outside of Cassville. Not sure what the state of that is at the moment. That's hit foul down the right. They're headed toward actually the Platteville dugout. There was, well, I believe, if I read correctly from Iowa County Emergency Management, that the Highway 23 bridge in Darlington is closed because of flooding. That's high, and the ball gets away, and Johnson is able to get to second. So he's over at second. Johnson is with 2 out, and 2-ball, 2-strike pitch coming to Brandon Edge. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Connor Timlin on deck. Ball 4. And so for the second time, Edge walks. He's at second. Johnson at first. Hit 2 away. And Edge will be replaced by Cooper Withrow as a courtesy runner. If you don't have the extra player, then the kind of informal rule is that the last batter to make out becomes the courtesy runner. Of course, you get that. Oh, Timlin fouls it off and got hit. And I'm not sure what order they came in, but he fouled it off, so it's strike 1. Usually it's not the batter that gets hit by his own foul ball. That's hit foul down the third baseline. And that's too bad because that was extra bases there. So it's 2 strikes to Timlin, and the runners go back to their respective bases. Johnson at second, and Edge at first. 2 out, bottom of the second. And Platteville looking to add their 3-1 lead. That's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chopper back to the pitcher, and Hopman is able to throw out Timlin to end the inning. Platteville adds a run, leaves 2, and our score after 2 is Platteville 3, Shullsburg 1.
Doing a good job back here. I enjoy listening to the game.
Thank you.
Yeah, I heard you. I just left Darlington. They had just closed the bridge.
Yeah, I saw that from Iowa County this morning. Is there anything else underwater there?
Well, Roller Coaster Hill. What road is that? Yeah, Roller Coaster Hill. Back way to the heart.
Yeah.
That's closed down there.
Yeah.
I'm sure on the county side of it.
Oh yeah,
How
it's.
much rain have we had?
I don't know. I haven't seen.
Just 7 or 8 inches.
We could in certain areas, absolutely. Top of the third inning here at Chamberlain Field. It looks like Platteville's going to have a new pitcher. Who, if my memory is correct, that would be Riley Niehaus pitching in this third inning. He was playing third base, so it appears as though Dylan Prestigard has moved from first to third and Timlin back to third base, or back to first base. Dylan's played a lot of third, of course, this year. 2, 3, 4 batters, Hotman, Dull, and Hauser in the, in the bottom of the, or top of the third inning. And I just said that sarcastic statement because now there is some kind of bee attacking, or attempting to attack me. So if you hear bad language in the next few minutes, I apologize in advance. Three to 1 Platteville, and it's 1 ball, swing and a miss, and it's actually 3 balls and a strike. That's it, fouled. Dylan Prestigard pitched the first. Gave up a hit and a walk, but the hit was erased on a caught stealing attempt, so no runs. Connor Timlin pitched the second, gave up 1. He had the bases loaded with nobody out. Shullsburg did, was only able to score 1. Swing and a miss. 1 away. First strikeout for Riley Niehaus. And the second strikeout for Hotman. Here's Dull, who walked and was left at first in the first. So the switch in position again. Timlin back at first base. Dylan Prestigard now playing third base. And Niehaus, who was starting at third base, is now pitching. And this could be a game similar to what we had in the second game on Saturday, where you end up with basically everybody pitching 1 or no more than 2 innings, because there is conceivably another game if Platteville's able to hold on for the win. That's grounded foul down the third base side. Winner of this game will play Keeler at 6 o'clock tonight back here at Legion, and the winner of that game then will play at 12:30 Sunday afternoon. And there's a whole lot of multiple scheduling here because Sunday, of course, is also the Boy Scout Troop 82 Fly-In Drive-In Breakfast over at the Platteville Municipal Airport. The first event of Hometown Festival Week, the 8-day-long extravaganza in which the Platteville Regional Chamber tries to drive the editor of the Platteville Journal into the ground. That's inside. 2 balls and a strike. 3 balls and a strike. So the breakfast is tomorrow morning. The Stone Cottage, that's outside, ball 4. And so Dull walks with 1 out. His second walk, first walk given up by Niehaus. And Hauser, he struck out to end the first inning. And he heads to the plate. So again, it's the Fly-In Drive-In Breakfast, Sunday 7 to 12 at Platteville Municipal Airport. And everyone's invited, whether you fly there or drive there. I suppose you could bike or walk also if you want to go that far. 1 ball, no strikes. Then the Mitchell Roundtree Stone Cottage 180th Anniversary Ice Cream Social. That's a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. That is at from 1 to 4 at the Stone Cottage tomorrow afternoon. That's a strike. Throwback, well, a fake throw back to first base. And that got Dull back to first. A ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. 2 out. Here's Edge, who walked and came around to score the only run for Shullsburg. Runner at first with 2 out, and a balk is called. The home plate umpire is saying that Riley had to pause, and apparently did not. So that moves Dull to second base, and that's high, ball 1. Meanwhile to Edge. So that's Edge the plate, and that's also Edge behind the plate. I wonder if they're related. And of course the question would be, for the stupid joke or stupid pun, which team has the edge? Well, maybe both of them do. 2 balls and a strike. That's early. I didn't have enough coffee this morning. Looks would have been even worse if this had been actually an 8 o'clock ball game. Since, as you might know, it's grounded fouled on the first baseline. I'm rarely seen at work at 8 o'clock for good reason. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. And actually it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Scoreboard says 2 and 2, but the umpire just corrected that. And now the scoreboard is correct. So we're all correct. And we're all in agreement. 2 balls, 1 strikes, 1 strike, 2 out. And now Niehaus will step out, watching the runner at second, Dull. And they're going to call that a balk also. And now Kelly Johnson, the coach, comes out to third. And the issue is not, in the first case, it was not stopping. You have to have a discernible pause. Although, tell that to Rich Gossage, who I'm not sure. You ever see Goose Gossage when he was pitching for the Yankees and then the San Diego Padres, great closer, if he ever really discernibly stopped, ever. At any rate, that's a strike, and it's 2 and 2. Dull at third with 2 out. And he's going to score on the balk. And again, it's the issue of the discernible pause. So Dull is able to score. It's 3-2. And a strike to end the inning. Well, a run scores, and nobody left. And our score after 2.5, it is Platteville 3, Shullsburg 2. Streaming the Platteville Journal Facebook page. I don't think I have a pause button on this, so as a result, you might end up hearing conversations taking place. There's an online conversation also about the state of the infield, which is probably softer than you usually see here. And the last time that Platteville played in a tournament game here, which was a couple of weeks ago, you might remember, or a few weeks ago, time flies, you might recall that it was extremely dry and windy, and as a result, they were actually watering the field during play because of how wet, because of how dry the field was. That is clearly not a problem today. And not just because of all the rain overnight, but also because there is no wind to speak of. It is a thick day, cloudy, humid, and yes, chance of more rain. Hopefully that'll hold off, because heaven knows that with all the rain yesterday in several waves, and of course all the flooding that has taken place, we don't need any more rain. Dylan Prestigard will lead off. My basement does not need any more rain, among other things. Dylan Prestigard, Wyatt Wanizek, and Seth Millsap in the bottom of the third inning. Platteville leading 3-2. And the first pitch to Dylan is outside, ball one. Prestigard singled, stole a base, or maybe two bases, and scored the second run for the Hillmen. And that's grounded hard to short, or second base, and gets past the second baseman and goes into right center field. So Dylan aboard for the second time. And again, hitting to the opposite field. I think, I'm not positive about this, but I believe he has more hits to right and right center field than he does to left field this year. And of course, the natural thing for teams that look at a big right-handed hitter is, well, he probably pulls. Pitch is outside, and Prestigard steals second without a throw. And yet, he's been very successful in hitting the ball to the right side. Dylan now at second on the stolen base. And a faked throwback. And, of course, in that case, again, you have to get off the pitching rubber, which he did. Meanwhile, 1 ball, no strikes. And that pitch gets away and goes right to us at the screen. And Prestigard able to get over to third base. So there he is at third base. Wanizek, an RBI ground out to first in the first. And he had a chance to get another RBI here. That pitch outside. And it's 3 balls, no strikes with Seth Millsap on deck. The 3-0. Ball 4. Catcher Hauser did a good job blocking that to make sure that that didn't bring in run number 4 for Platteville. Prestigard at third, Wanizek at second, and here's Millsap, who popped to second to end the first inning. Platteville leading 3-2, 2 aboard, and nobody out here at the bottom of the third. Winner gets Keeler, and the throwback to third. Winner gets Keeler, the 3rd seed. Shullsburg, by the way, the 11th seed, and Platteville, the 6th seed. And in this particular tournament, the higher seed is the home team. So no coin flips, and steal of second base without a throw by Wanizek. So it's second and third, and nobody out. Millsap with a chance to drive in a pair and extend Platteville's 3-2 lead. Scoring a bunt. And that ball gets away, and no advancing, however, to the plate by Prestigard. That would have been tough to score on because it didn't go all that far, about 30 feet maybe. Two balls, no strikes. And that'll drive in a run on a base hit to left field. Prestigard scores. Rounding third is Wanizek. The throw to the plate will be cut off. And so Millsap with a 2-run single. And that extends Platteville's lead to 5-2 here in the bottom of the third inning. Prestigard has now scored twice today. And Niehaus to the plate. He struck out back in the second inning. 1 strike to Niehaus, who pitched in third, popped up, foul. And at the roof behind us, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. And actually, the scoreboard was wrong. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. I wasn't sure I heard the umpire say 1-1. Well, he obviously did. So it's 1-2 to Niehaus. And the pitch is low. And going to third is Millsap, stealing the base without a throw. So he's at third with nobody out. And a 2-2 pitch coming to Niehaus. 3-2. John Drefsinski on deck. And again, I think to myself, I really need an extra person here. Kick foul. So we'll do 2-2 again. Actually, a table here would be helpful, too. I didn't think of that. If Platteville advances, we'll be back around 6 o'clock tonight. Weather permitting, I hate to say. That's a strike out. Niehaus called looking, 1 out. And here's John Drefsinski, who walked 2 stolen bases and scored in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Platteville leading 5-2, 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd, and that's ball 1. John Drefsinski playing last year, I called him Action Man because it seemed as though whenever he got on the bases, he managed to make things happen. He was quite entertaining to watch a year ago. And he's been playing center field along with Josh Banfield for Platteville this year on the tournament team. 2 balls, no strikes. Three balls, no strikes. I have to be fed water here. Remind me, I need to get a table over here for the next game if there is one. Okay. Somehow. That's a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike.
I'll get a chair.
Thank you. Having somebody who could hold this also would be nice, but I suppose that's not doable. 3-1. A cell phone time called. And that's a balk. So Millsap scores on the balk. It's 6-2 Platteville. And meanwhile, 3-1 to John Drefsinski. And that's ball 4. So Drefsinski walks for the 2nd time. And he is over at first with 1 out. And Platteville looking to add to their 6-2 lead. Again, the winner gets Keeler, the 3rd seed, in, let's see, quarterfinal, I think? Not positive about that. At 6. Squaring to bunt, and that is a bunt. Good bunt. And only 1 play is at first. And Drefsinski is able to get all the way over to 3rd on the bunt by Cooper Withrow. So Drefsinski at 3rd. He went to 2nd on the bunt and just kept going. And we're back to, actually it'll be Desmond Meeson to bat. And that's ball 1. Ball gets away, but not far enough for Drefsinski to score. Well, rumor has it is Desmond Meeson's birthday today. And now the entire planet knows that. The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Excuse me, 2 balls, no strikes. Swing at this, 2-1. It is really thick out. It's not that warm, but it is extremely humid, which is kind of the way it's been the last couple of days. 3 balls, 1 strike. On top of all of the water in Platteville, a lot of flooding in backyards and so on along Water Street, kind of between Platteville High School and the golf course. Ball 4. So Meeson walks. He's at first. Drewsinski at third with 2 out and Platteville leading 8-2. Is that right? No, 6-2. Actually, well, we'll check. Can't read my own scorecard. Ball 1 to Brendan Edge, who walked and scored in the first and then walked in the second. That's a strike, and Meeson is able to steal second without a throw. And that, of course, is because of having Drewsinski over at third. If you make that throw to second, he's clearly going to try to score and would score. 1-1. 2 balls a strike. So it's Drewsinski at third and Meeson at second. It is 6-2, by the way. A little hard, as you know, the scoreboards at Legion, some of them don't work quite as well. Some of them do not work optimally. And throw to actually a faked throw over to third base. See if they can get Drewsinski, I guess. 2-1. Meanwhile, to Edge. Down the first base line. And the throw it, or the unassisted putout ends the inning with 3 runs coming in to score, 2 runners left. And it is 6-2 Platteville after 3. Platteville up 6-2 as we head to the 4th inning. 6 by my count, I should say. I was just getting a hit count, and actually, according to what I have, that can't be right. Platteville has only 1 hit. No. I believe it is actually Platteville with 3 hits, but 6 runs. So 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 runs by my count. 2 errors. Platteville has left 4 runners aboard. Shullsburg, again by my count. 3 runs. 1 hit, is that right? No errors. Actually, that's not, yeah, right, no errors, and they have left 4 runners aboard in 3 innings. Kind of the result of a lot of walks in this game by all of the pitchers that have pitched today, and it looks like Platteville is going to have Seth Millsap now pitching. Yeah, the first pitch is a strike. Now we got a picture back to Jackson Jerry. And now kind of for the first time today, the sun comes out, at least during this game. So Millsap is Millsap, who was at second base, so now I'm not sure who's playing second. It might be Dylan Prescott playing second base. And over at third. Now as I try to lose everything I've got here. And that pitch gets away. Thank you. And I should have put the sunglasses someplace else. Well, I guess I won't move anywhere on the floor. 3 balls, 1 strike to Jerry. That's a strike to make it 3-2. Three and two. Yeah, that's ball 4. So Jerry walks. Walks have been an issue for all of the pitchers today. And he's aboard at first. He reached on an error, Jerry did, and scored back in the second inning. Here's Unbehun, who walked in the second, and he takes a ball. And that is, by the way, for those unfamiliar, that's the noon whistle. That is not a storm siren yet. The 1-0 is popped up, and a nice running catch at second base by Dylan Prestigard. And he's immediately shoved by his teammate, Connor Timlin. So, as I thought might be the case, Prestigard is over at second. And I think, therefore, Niehaus is over at third. Niehaus is back at third. Here in the fourth inning. And after the pop-up, 1 away. And here's O'Brien, who struck out looking back in the second. Platteville leading 6-2. 1 out in the top of the fourth inning. Winner gets Keeler in the next game, which would be at 6 o'clock tonight here at Legion Field. The game after that is a 12:30 start tomorrow afternoon. Be interested to see who's able to get over for that, because the family is all over the place tomorrow. 2 balls, no strikes. Correction, that's ball 4. And so O'Brien walks. And that pushes Jerry over to second. And here is Upland, who reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning. We are in the fourth, and every time the sun comes out, it gets about 10 degrees warmer instantly. And that's ball 1. Very humid. Kind of like yesterday. And to date, we haven't had any rain yet since the sun came up, but it's a wet field, but still playable, which is great. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kudos to all the people who came down here and obviously put a ton of that diamond dust stuff out and raked the field to get it in playing condition. 1-1 hit foul. Down to the first baseline, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2. Plate umpire, or the base umpire, had to dive out of the way, or leap out of the way of that one. And we'll do another 1-2 pitch. Chopped to second and past second for a base hit. Run will score. And the throw to second. And the runner is held up and he's tagged out. So a base hit for Upman, but he is retired 9-4. That's 2 out. Jerry scores run number 3, so it is 6-3. And there's 2 out, and again, a ground ball, now a ground ball to short, and the long throw got him by a step, and that ends the inning. Charles retired, 1 run scores, and Shullsburg leaves 2 aboard. Check that, 1 aboard. And our score after 3.5 is Platteville 6, Shullsburg 3. Bottom of the 4th inning at Chamberlain Field at Legion Park. And of course, you end up with that whole question, was Legion Field or Legion Park? It depends on where you are, I guess. The signs say park. People in town seem to call it field. Perhaps it's an issue of what you remember here. This Legion Field used to be where Platteville played football. Platteville High School played football, and when Platteville had to move a couple of football games, high school games, because of the unexpected repairs needed at Pioneer Stadium after the 2014 tornado that came up of, well, where did they play before? And the answers were that they played near Platteville Middle School. I think it was a field to the north of the middle school, and they also played here at Legion. And I can't remember if it was over at Hill or Chamberlain where the football field was in the old layout here. At any rate, it's 6-3, bottom of the 4th inning, 2-3-4 batters for Platteville. And that's ball 1 to Connor Timlin, who grounded to short in the 1st. And grounded to 3rd in the 2nd. He said, trying to read his own handwriting. Swing and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike. Platteville with 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd. Shullsburg, and that's grounded to 3rd. And 1 out. Should have added, by the way, that Timlin does have an RBI. He drove in the first run of the game on that first ground out. Now Dylan Prestigard singled and scored in the 1st. Singled and scored, actually walked and scored. Or was that a single? Well, at any rate, he has 2 runs. And that's grounded to 3rd, and a nice backhand stop there. And he's safe. The ball, the throw, it was a nice defensive play by the 3rd baseman, but the throw was a little bit to the home plate side of first base. And in the dive, the first baseman was not able to either tag Dylan or step on the base. And so Prestigard at first, at a high throw at first, and I'm not sure if he scored a single or an error there. I guess a single, because that was a nice defensive play at a hard hit ball. That would make Dylan 3 for 3, I guess. Or 2 for 2. And meanwhile, Prestigard, in the midst of all that discussion, steals second without a throw. So he's at second base with 1 out. (6-3) Platteville, 1 out, bottom of the 4th. And that's 1 ball, 1 strike to Wanizek. Grounded to first in the first, walked and scored in the third. Pop fouled on the third base side out of play. And Prestigard goes back to second base. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3-2. Seth Millsap on deck. Up the middle, base hit. Prestigard around third, lumbering home, and he will score on the RBI single by Wanizek. It is 7-2. 7-3, in favor of Platteville. And Prestigard has his 3rd run scored of the day. Wanizek at third. Millsap is at the plate. Millsap popped to second to end the first, and then singled and scored with an RBI and ended up scoring a balk actually in the 3rd inning. The ball gets away, and Wanizek is able to get to second. He's over at second. And by the way, Luke Unbehun is now pitching. I apologize for not letting he'd come in before that, but Unbehun now pitching for Shullsburg. And meanwhile, 2 balls and no strikes, and it's 3-0. And now going to third, and a stolen base for Wanizek. So he's over at third base with 1 away. And it's 3-0 to Millsap. 3-1, or ball 4, excuse me. So Millsap aboard at first, Wanizek at third. And here's Riley Niehaus, who has a pair of strikeouts, 1 looking and 1 called. Let's try that again. 1 swinging and 1 called. And now a mound conference between Unbehun and Hauser. It didn't last long. And so we're right here, 1 out, 1 run in. It's 7-3 Platteville in the bottom of the 4th inning. Winner gets Keeler tonight at 6 o'clock. And that pitch is hit fouled on the third baseline. And it's 1 strike. One of the runners, Millsap, was going on the pitch. The 0-1. Yes, that hit me. That's why there's a fence here, so that, people here don't get hit. 2 strikes. And I can't say anything, of course, because Riley is not in my house. If that was Dylan, he'd be doing like a month worth of dishes for hitting me. Outside, meanwhile, stealing second without a throw is Millsap. So 2 in scoring position with 1 out. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two and two. Here's the 2-2. I guess I should have, well, hit to left and hit it to the wall. And 2 runs will score. Wanazek is in. Millsap is in on a double and maybe a triple as Niehaus to third, and he is out. Well, give him a pair of RBIs on the double. He is thrown out at third, but it is 9-3. And now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Again, the winner gets Keeler at 6 o'clock tonight in the quarterfinal. And meanwhile, Drefsinski now with the bases empty and 2 out. And that's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oh, there's a chance of rain. I did not check to see, as that's a strike. Didn't check to see how much of a chance. I do know that the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center kind of decided that there wasn't going to be a chance of severe weather after all, which is great news. And that hit to center field, and that will be a base hit. And Drefsinski thought about 2 and stays at first. Drefsinski has a pair of walks and a run scored, that back in the 2nd inning. Platteville up. I think it's 9-3. Can't quite read that. Scoreboard says 8, but I believe 2 runs came. I know 2 runs came in before, so it's 9-3. And meanwhile, Drefsinski still second base without a throw. So he's at second base now with 2 out. Withrow grounded to third in the 2nd. And to the catcher in the 3rd. And meanwhile, Drefsinski steals 3rd. And so there he is with 2 out. And a chance for Cooper Withrow to drive in a run with 2 out. Which is, today's actually been kind of the exception to that, but it's outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Platteville has feasted this year, kind of interestingly, on driving in runs with 2 out. The 3-0. And that missed, ball 4. So Withrow aboard at first. Drefsinski stays at third, and here is Meeson, who walked back in the 3rd inning in his only plate appearance. 2 aboard, 2 out, and a pitching change, it looks like, coming for Shullsburg. And indeed it is. We'll get you who that is in a moment here. And the new pitcher for Shullsburg, and I have to flip the page because I didn't write down the numbers, on the defensive side, is Aiden Dull. So Dull comes in the bottom of the 4th. I think that means we have a new shortstop, although Shullsburg with only 9 pitchers, so it's the same, or 9 players, so it's the same 9 people. It's just a question of where they are on the field. I believe that is Shullsburg's 3rd pitcher of the day. And he comes in with 2 aboard and 2 out, and Platteville leading 9-3 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Scoreboard says 8-3 in... fifth or third. I'll give you a shot at the scoreboard, and you can see that it's a little bit hard to see because some of those lights don't work. So if there's somebody out there, and the first pitch to Meeson is a swing and a miss. If there's somebody out there who would like to contribute a large sum of money, the throw goes to second and gets away, and coming in to score is Drefsinski. So a stolen base for Withrow. Drefsinski scores, and now it is 10-3 with 2 out in the fourth. High. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Platteville with 2 runs in the first, 1 run in the second, 3 runs in the third, and 4 runs here in the fourth inning. The scoreboard doesn't say 10, but I believe it is 10-3, if my math skills are correct. Outside. And it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the order, and Brendan Edge on deck. And that's ball 4. So Meeson gets to third. Meanwhile, on the Withrow. And now back to the top of the order, and Brendan Edge. Now I'm a little confused myself. There are 2 out, this much I know. And that's ball 1. Meeson over at first on the walk. Withrow is over at third. Now we got it straight. And back to Brendan Edge, the 9th man to bat in this order. 4 runs have scored, and 2 aboard with 2 out. Hit foul. Now, I'm not sure about the rules. They change for every tournament. If there's a time limit or if there is certainly there's a 10-run rule issue potentially coming up, but Platteville needs a couple more runs for that. And they pause to get a new baseball. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 out. I do know that the winner of this game plays Keeler, the 3rd seed, at 6 o'clock. And happily, that should give us plenty of time to charge up the battery on the phone as well as the auxiliary power device. 2 balls and a strike. 3 balls and a strike. And for that matter, I kind of wonder if we might be able to string out an extension cord out here. 3-1 is ball 4. Edge walks. And the bases are loaded with 2 out. Edge before that had walked and scored in the first, walked in the second, grounded to the pitcher in the third, and the 10th runner, the 10th batter in the order, Connor Timlin, who earlier in this inning grounded to third as the first out. Before that, grounded to short and grounded to third. And that's ball 1. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Huge move from first by Edge. Bases are loaded, so he can't really go in play, but he could attract a throw and might be able to get Withrow home from third, conceivably. 2 balls and 1 strike. Platteville with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third, 4 in the fourth. Shullsburg with 1 in single runs in the second, third, and fourth. Right back to the pitcher, and that should end the inning, and does. But 10 bats, 4 score, and our score after 4, it is Platteville 10, Shullsburg 3.
asking about what you weren't sure, it's 6 innings or an hour.
Okay.
So you got about 5 minutes left.
Okay. Thanks. One change for Platteville, and if I didn't notice this before, I apologize. Cooper Withrow now catching. And I think I heard Brendan Edge is in left field. I'm not positive about that. Beth Millsap is pitching in the second inning. Platteville up 10-3. And the first pitch, ball one. 2, 3, 4 batters, Hotman, Dahl, and Hauser in the top of the fifth inning. We've been told, by the way, we appreciate the clarification, swing and a miss, that the rule in this tournament is 6 innings or an hour and a half, and this is therefore, barring a big comeback by Shullsburg, this is the last inning. And that's a strike. Hotman today struck out in the first and in the third. Shullsburg single runs in the second, third, and fourth. Swing and a miss, and he has 3 strikeouts today and 1 out here in the fifth inning. Dahl walked in the first, walked and scored in the third. Ball one. To right field, and that bounces for a base hit in front of Desmond Meeson, who is now playing right field. So a single with 1 out here in the top of the fifth inning. Hauser struck out in the first and in the third. Runs been generated for Shullsburg in the bottom of the order, or the bottom half of the order at least. And that pitch is a ball, and the throw to second is not in time. Stolen base for Dahl. And a baseball. There's actually 4 tournaments going on here, or 4 divisions of tournaments. 9th grade to be, I guess it's Pony League baseball and softball, and then Little League softball and baseball as well. So it's a little busy here at Legion today. And that's hit to right field, and that will be a base hit. Rounding third, and coming to score is Dahl on a double by Hauser, his first hit of the ball game. Dahl scores run number 4, his second run of the game, and it's 10-4. Good, buddy. Here in the top of the fifth inning. That's a strike to Edge. Walked and scored in the second, struck out looking in the third. And barring a big comeback, Platteville is 2 outs away from playing tonight against Keeler. That pitch bounces up there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Desmond Meeson in right field, and I believe it's Edge in left. That's a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2. in the dirt, and it's the screen as you just saw, and that allows Hauser to get to third. So there he is with 2 out. Obviously, Platteville more concerned about getting the last 2 outs when you have a 6-run lead. Hit foul. And we'll do it again, 2-2. 10-4 Platteville, 1 out in the 5th. Platteville with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third, 4 in the fourth. As we mentioned, Shullsburg with single runs in the second, third, fourth, and now 5th. 2-2. Got him. 2 away. And Shullsburg down to their last out, and that'll be Jerry to the plate. Reached on an error in the second, walked and scored in the 4th inning. 1 inning ago, and the pitch gets away, but can't advance really from third base on that. So Hauser stays at third. Swing and a miss. 1 strike. I guess you could say Platteville and Keeler at 6, it looks like, in 1 out. And have to add the Lord willing and the creek don't rise. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes, excuse me. Foul down the first base line, and we'll do 1 ball, 2 strikes again. Wasn't able to check the rest of the schedule, the other games going on, so my suspicion is you should come down here to Legion and check them out yourself. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We do know that in 1 out, Platteville will play Keeler tonight at 6 o'clock. Winner of that game will play Sunday at 12:30 back here. And I believe Chamberlain is hosting all of this division's games. 2-2. Outside, now it's 2-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. Correction, ball 4. And so Jerry walks, 1st and 3rd, 2 out. And here's Unbehun, who walked in the 2nd and popped to 2nd in the 4th inning. Platteville up 10-4 with 2 out. And that's a swing and a miss. Strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Or correction, 2 strikes. And Shullsburg is down to their last strike. Cue shot to 2nd. And the shovel to 1st. And that ends it. Dylan Prestigard had a little trouble finding the handle, but managed to get it to 1st. And Platteville wins its first ball game in the tournament, 10-4 over Shullsburg. So it'll be Platteville and Keeler tonight at 6 o'clock here at Legion Park. And somehow we managed to keep the battery the whole time. Imagine that. So Platteville wins 10-4. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you later today.